and welcome to the Valley. Today, I am your host, Janet Michael. It is LFCC Day, so Guy Curtis is here from Workforce Solutions. And you brought a little bit of, I won't say sunshine, because we didn't actually see the sun, but you brought some brightness with you to the day.
Just a tease bit of sun, that's all I brought. Yeah, so it's going to be going away here pretty shortly, but just a little tease.
Yeah, and I rewarded you mightily,
yes, thank you very much.
I have to say, yes. We got our final box of Washington National swag in today. So since you are such, this is a call out to all of our advertisers that are really, really great advertisers that spend a lot of money. Hey, you show up on the right day, you get free stuff.
Exactly. The key is timing, so you got to be careful of that and know when the box shows up.
Yeah, because I didn't even know. I walked back in my office and I'm like, where did these boxes weren't here 5 minutes ago? Where did they come from? And then we just tore through them like it was Christmas, and we've got new Nats bobbleheads and hoodies and shirts and hats and all kinds of cool stuff. So
a lot of swag.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So we have a really cool show because we were talking a little bit before we went on the air today. A lot of times, Guy, when you come, we're talking about trade professions. We're talking about, your FastForward credentials and things like that. So you've got a new rookie with you today who hasn't done the show with us. Carlene Hurdle is here. She is the workforce director for the Fauquier campus. I assume we're going to continue on that trek of the conversation?
Yeah, exactly. And part of Carlene's area that she's been overseeing for the past couple of years is the success that we've had in our Fauquier campus with a lot of the trades programs, apprenticeships that we offer out there. And they're addressing the skills gap and the middle skills jobs that are empty out there. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that today and say why we're offering these programs and what we can do to help people out to find a meaningful job.
Well, Carlene, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So tell me a little bit about what you do at Fauquier campus. What is Workforce Director? Do you just point to people and say, hey, you go do this and hey, you go do that? Wouldn't that be nice?
I wish it was that easy, but no, it's not quite like that. So the Fauquier campus and the Fauquier County was always a little bit different for the 7 counties that Lord Fairfax serves. And so I think 2 years ago, it was dreamed up that maybe if they could have someone funded to be at that campus, they could really focus on what's meaningful for the county and that region. And so for the last 2 years, my position was jointly funded between the county and the college to address the business needs as well as the student needs in that area and try to align those things. And so that's that position is still alive and well, but I have taken a new position with the college as a director to begin to grow not only that area that I was serving, but also to add more personnel so that we can continue to grow. We have had explosive growth in our trades programs and in some of our construction area programs as well.
Well, and Guy, that's something that we've talked about that's happening not just in our communities, whether it's Middletown campus, Fauquier campus, no matter, or even Vent Hill, but it's happening across the state and across the country.
Right. Across the region, there is still that demand of the middle skilled jobs that are out there. And I guess a lot of the programs that we offer do fit those needs because we're working with employers hand in hand in a lot of situations. And Carlene has a ton of examples from Fauquier that we're addressing their need with the skilled pipeline of staff, workers that can come out and actually fulfill the jobs that they're trying to fill. And so across our region, across the nation, there are, thousands of jobs and million jobs that are going to be open in the near future. And then actually in the forecast in the next 10 years, I believe the number is 1.4 million. Wow. Jobs are going to be out there that are going to be aimed towards middle skilled jobs. And we're providing the credentials to fit those skills and those needs that the employers are looking for. So it's a local problem that we're continuing to address. And I think why we're back again today to talk about it, because we still need that pipeline. Employers are still knocking on our door. We need these qualified candidates and they can't find them. And so across the state, certainly in our service region, and the big ticket for individuals listening, that if you want to work local, live local, and have a meaningful career and a chance to advance long-term into a career, and also have a great wage for your family, we have training programs that fit individuals in so many ways, and they're affordable. You could do it on the weekends, and they're flexible, and so a great opportunity for individuals in our area to take advantage of jobs that are open that can't be filled right now.
So, Carlene, let me ask you, one of the things Guy referenced are middle skills. What are middle skills? If somebody's listening and they're like, I don't even know what that is, what kinds of things specifically is he talking about?
Well, middle skill jobs are those that require more than high school, but less than a 4-year degree. So if you think about licensed positions like an electrician, if you think of something like a construction worker who has the ability to run heavy equipment, there is some skill that's needed, but it doesn't it doesn't matriculate to a 4-year degree. There's not a need for that. And as a matter of fact, the college or bust mentality that we've had as a nation for the last several years has created this gap. And so we have, and the gap is getting bigger, but we have this gap where we have these highly educated folks, and then we have, high school graduates, but there's nothing in the middle. And there's always been a backbone of middle skills jobs. It's what has been responsible for the infrastructure of our nation. And we just need to start to get back to that as the gap continues to widen with, large scale retirement of our baby boomers and a lot of things contributing to pressure on the workforce in general. And so, we have created programs for, electrical, HVAC, and plumbing, a 2-year program where by the end of the 2 years, if that person's been working in the field, they can apply for their journeyman license and get started along their way to becoming a master. And those jobs pay very well.
Yeah, they are not low-paying jobs
Right.
by any stretch of the imagination. And that's kind of the key. I mean, I think that's one of the things that sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. Carlene touched on a little bit. Everybody thinks it's college or bust. And that's not the case in the real world anymore. And it's also not the case that some of these jobs are going to be minimum wage jobs, because that's not it at all.
Right. And coming to the thought of rethinking or maybe making a smart choice, potentially, depending on the individual and, of course, where they're going long term, a 4-year degree may be the best start, depending on where they are. But if you're looking to quickly get into a career or trying to fulfill the needs of your family in some form of the wage, that a lot of these middle skilled jobs actually pay really great, and they actually don't take a lot of time and investment to get them. We found through our FastForward program, which is actually a funding source for a lot of the credential programs we offer in trades and healthcare and transportation, that they're seeing a 21% to 58% bump in wages from their previous start of that program.
Wow.
So in other words, if you're sitting there today thinking, if I'm in a job now and I can make 21% to maybe 58% more in my current wages of take-home money, that's huge for families in our area. And so that program and our credential programs are doing wonders for these families.
And that's not to say that if your long-term goal is to have, a degree in business administration or in any of these other fields, you can't still do that down the road, but you still need to make money and feed your family now. And you can do that now and still work toward a 4-year degree that may not even be related to what your skill set is.
Absolutely. And back to the kind of like the rethinking, I think we all were told to go to college and get a degree, and I did that, and many of us have done that. And so the thought is to rethink that and maybe find a career path that's actually aligned with a lot of the jobs that are in demand, and rethink the possibility of, I don't need to go get a 4-year degree right away, but maybe I get a credential, start working in, say, the healthcare field, and work my way around and more of a lattice approach, and not try to climb the ladder right away with a bachelor's or bust kind of a thing right away. Another great example, too, of a smarter choice is actually finding an employer who's willing to invest in yourself as you get that credential and start working in heavy equipment operation or the healthcare setting. A lot of times those employers will continue to invest in you to keep you engaged and to retain that talent by providing professional development. And so you could eventually work towards other certifications, your degree potentially too. Valley Health is a great example locally. After a year of employment, they're going to offer a large stipend to continue to develop you and help you with your next career training. So the thought is a smart choice. Rather than go get a degree right away, think about that career path. Do I have a potential to get in that way with a fast track credential program?
Well, and Carlene, we're going to take a break here in a second, but you were telling me about a situation in Fauquier County with a company that's kind of asking their older workers to stay on past retirement because they need these people. That's kind of the situation that Guy's talking about. So can we talk about that a little bit when we come back?
Sure.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk more with Guy Curtis. He is with Lord Fairfax Community College's Workforce Solutions. Carlene Hurdle is also here. She's the Workforce Director at their Fauquier campus. I am Janet Michael, and you are listening to The Valley Today. Expecting to hear a commercial? Well, that's kind of what this is. First, I want to thank you for listening to the Valley Today podcast. You're one of many who listen to the show this way. Sometimes it's because our listeners didn't know that if they're away from the radio, they can still listen on our website, via the TuneIn app on their phone, or even on Alexa. We're also available in the Apple Podcast app and the Google Play Music app. Sometimes our listeners are just busy and they want to listen when it fits their schedule. Or maybe it's a guest of the show who want to hear what they sounded like when they were on the radio. We even have a few binge listeners who listen to a a week's worth at a time. So if you want those people, your potential customers, to hear your message, your ad could have been here. And the bonus, your commercial isn't restricted to just 30 or 60 seconds. You can take up to 2 minutes to talk to those customers. There's even the opportunity to be the exclusive sponsor of the Valley Today podcast, which gets you on-air mentions at the end of every show. If all of this sounds interesting to you, give me a call at the station, 540-635-4121, or send me an email to janet@theriver953.com. You can also find all of my contact info by searching Janet Michael on our website at theriver953.com. So do one of those things. Get in touch and let me tell you how we can talk to those customers in this podcast every single day. And now, back to the show. Welcome back to the Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael, and this segment is brought to you by Valley Health, offering the latest minimally invasive surgery advancements. You can learn more at valleyhealthlink.com/MIS. So we are in the studio today. It's LFCC Day. So Guy Curtis is here from Workforce Solutions. Carlene Hurdle is also here. She is the workforce director at their Fauquier campus. And we've been talking about middle skills and the misconception that a lot of people have to just, graduate high school, race off to college, incur a massive debt, and still not really be working in a field that they're studying or be able to pay off some of that debt. But there is other options that tend to get overlooked. And that's kind of what we were talking about. Carlene, you were telling me before we came on the air about a particular industry, and I won't make you mention their name, but they're at a point where their workers should be aging out of the workforce, but they're kind of begging them to stay because they don't have the influx of new workers to take their place.
That's right. So we have a light manufacturing organization within Fauquier County, and 30% of their workforce is beyond retirement age.
Wow.
And one of the reasons they're able to continue doing it is the technological advances in manufacturing that has allowed them to do this with less physical labor than they've had in the past. But it is a perfect situation for someone who enjoys video games or enjoys the technology piece of it to get involved in manufacturing. And then these jobs have a career pathway, so they can get into it with, at a very low cost through the FastForward grants and get jobs in high demand businesses.
Well, and Guy, we've talked about the FastForward credentials and the grant possibilities. I mean, it substantially lowers your out-of-pocket expense if you decide to take one of these different options that are available.
Right. Yeah, with the FastForward program, depending on the class, in most cases, in the individual, you'll pay just a third the cost of the course. And then depending on their financial situation, they would pay about 10% of that third. So a lot of cases, individuals are getting a credential quickly, and it's in a short period of time with minimal investment potentially up front, other than just driving to and from campus and to classes. There's not a lot of investment in time and money towards these programs, and they're finding great careers right away. And I mentioned earlier before the break as far as that wage increase that they're seeing. So they're helping themselves out tremendously more because of the grants that we offer. And we do have some other grants that are part of it. And so we say we have a lot of funding options, and there's another grant that's also supporting us. But that FastForward program is doing wonders for individuals.
Well, and that's kind of the key, is because the low cost and fast. I mean, that's kind of the other thing that people assume whenever you hear the word college, you automatically go to that 4-year option. And that is totally not the case anymore. Some of these programs are even 6 months long in some cases, right? Or am I totally blowing that out?
No,
of the
that's
water?
right.
Okay.
We have 16 weeks to 6 months, depending on apprenticeship program or healthcare course. Our CDL program, you can get done in as little as 20 days. So there's also some part-time weekends with that one as well too, but a number of the programs are designed 3 to 4 months to maybe 6 months at most, and you could find yourself in a new position. And the great part of it too is that the scheduling is very convenient. So if you work on the weekends or if you work during the week, you can, depending on the class and the program, you could switch around and have that availability to still go to class, 1 or 2 nights a week, and in some cases maybe just one, and then you can continue your program, be done quickly, and hopefully find yourself in a job situation right away.
And it doesn't even really matter where you live because, Carlene, you're from the Fauquier campus. So, I mean, you don't even have to live within driving distance of just Middletown where Lord Fairfax has a campus. There are tons of options available.
That's right. Right. And, I think the other thing that's really interesting is, you can get a credential and get into a job with this very self-sustaining wage. These are good wages. These are wages you can live on your own, and then allow your employer to invest in you to get the rest of the skills or the education that you may need to continue in that field. And I think what the other wonderful part about it is if someone's not sure if they want to get involved in healthcare, but they need to make a decision, they can get a credential and get a job and then decide if that's really what they want without that huge initial investment. And then we're also seeing people with degrees who are incredibly underemployed that still need the credentials, the skill-based, industry-recognized credential to get up to the next level or to get to the level where they really needed to be in the first place.
And this is not in any way, shape, or form a situation where people are thinking, yeah, if I go do this, are the jobs still going to be there? You are working directly with a lot of these employers who are coming to you saying, hey, we really need you to teach these people how to do this so that we can hire them.
That's right. So these are industry-driven credentials, and they're tied to immediate needs, high demand needs in these industries.
And Guy, with some of the grants and some of the options of being able to afford it, are they income based? Are they skill set based? How does that normally work? What kind of process is there for that?
Our number one go-to program right now is the FastForward program, and you just have to be a Virginia resident from the last year.
Oh.
And so that's
me.
That's most of us. So,
I want to learn how to operate a crane.
Yeah. So there you go. Have a piece of equipment and you got it. So with that in mind, some of the financial benefits with that 1/3 that you would owe comes around the income of the household, and we have a couple individuals that can help you with that. We also have a neat grant, too, from the U.S. Department of Labor for pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeships through employers. So that's a whole nother game changer, too, that will actually cover most of the training entirely in some cases. And Carlene, I know you've worked more with those tradesmen in HVAC, plumbing, electrical, and also the manufacturing side, that grant is doing a great job with funding individuals completely.
It is. And I mean, we've been able to pay the entire amount for a student to become a registered pre-apprentice. And what that does is gives them the first level of whichever trade they choose, and then it aligns them with an employer, and they can continue on in the apprenticeship program. And either the employer can pay or the FastForward grant can kick in the 2/3 the tuition for the student, and they can continue.
And that's an ideal situation because I know, in the trades when I was growing up, being an apprentice was the way in. You had to know somebody, you had to have a friend who worked for a company. Trying to make that contact was the difficult thing, and you guys kind of have some of that groundwork already covered.
Yeah, the Heavy Equipment Operation Program is one of those examples where we're having employers come in and actually interview graduates. The CDL program is another example, and our M21 program also offers that job kind of placement, almost, if you will, opportunity to interview with employers as you complete the class. So in a lot of cases, the competitiveness, like you mentioned before, is not there as much as it was because there's such a high demand. And if you have that credential on your resume and you apply,
you get floated to the top of the list pretty quick.
The chances are you're going to get an interview very quickly, and it just makes you more marketable. Those employers know exactly the skills that you have, and when you do apply, you're going to get that interview.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do a quick wrap-up because we'll only have a few minutes when we come back. We are in the studio with Guy Curtis. He is with LFCC's Workforce Solutions. Carlene Hurdle is also here. She's the Workforce Director for their Fauquier campus. I am Janet Michael, and you are listening to The Valley Today.
There's always more to the story. At the River 95.3, that's what our new podcast, Another Look, offers. A deeper look into the news stories you hear about every week. I'm Dylan Nichols, News Director at the River 95.3. Join Janet Michael from the Valley Today and I as we review news from our area, as well as some odd news stories from around the country. You can find Another Look on the river953.com and listen to our take on the news whenever, wherever. Another Look offering you a weekend review with a twist. You can find a new one every Friday in the Apple Podcast app, in the Google Play Music app, or online at theriver953.com.
Welcome back to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael, and this segment is brought to you by Valley Health Urgent Care. Can't wait to see a doctor? Now you don't have to. You can even check in online and save time at vhurgentcare.com. So we've got a couple of minutes left in the studio. We are here talking with Guy Curtis. He is with LFCC's Workforce Solutions. Carlene Hurdle is also here. She's the Workforce Director for the Fauquier campus. So, Guy, we've got just a couple of minutes left. What are some of the key things that you want to make sure people understand about what we've been talking about today?
Sure. There's just a tremendous amount of opportunity where we live. And so with a lot of these jobs that are available, quickly you can get a job quickly through some of the programs that we offer. And I guess the thought is that simply that having discussions at the dinner table with your family, or if you have time to discuss with your middle schooler about these options, that the trades programs, the advanced manufacturing, a lot of these jobs are considered college because you're getting a very advanced technical skill that'll help you with a job and help you with a career long term. And so kind of rethinking going to college means more than just going to a 4-year program, that LFCC can match a lot of those needs locally. And if they're trying to live local,
and that's what all of our parents want is for our kids to stay somewhere close, not real close,
but yes,
not in the same house, but relatively close.
So live local and work local is the other key thing too, because we have a lot of individuals commuting out of our areas to work in DC and other areas. So the thought is, if you want to live locally and be home in time for the ball games for your kids or whatever it might be, that these training programs meet the needs of employers, but obviously offer a great opportunity locally to work.
Well, and Carlene, you brought up a good point when we were chatting during the break, too, that in a lot of cases, there are guaranteed interviews with some of these programs.
That's right. That's right. We have businesses who have already signed up to say anyone who graduates this program successfully is guaranteed a face-to-face, eyeball-to-eyeball interview to try and recruit students. And the other thing that's really starting to happen that we're seeing more and more of is that the pay rates continue to go up because there's so much competition in the marketplace for qualified individuals. So we don't see that there's anything changing the tide of this for quite some time.
So if somebody is listening and they're like, okay, I'm sold, I want to make more money, I want to do it faster, and I want to get some of these credentials, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you or to get more information?
Sure. Our website, lfccworkforce.com, is a great place to start. You can give us a call, 540-868-7021. But the other option, too, is to come to one of our open house events that we have early in November. We have a great event at the Boys and Girls Club on November 13th. We also have a heavy equipment operator and CDL open house on November 6th at our Vint Hill site location. And another option, too, not only just to come out in person and see some of the programs and talk to the instructors as well as our staff, but talking with our FastForward coach, Sherry Pinto. She's a great resource. She's someone free to speak with. She can help you with looking at all the options and looking at where you sit. And we also have some other individuals on our staff to help with the funding, too. So if you're a question and wondering, can I get the funding for this particular program, maybe you can, but it just doesn't hurt to ask. So just come on into our campuses, give us a call, come to our website and find out more information.
Follow you on Twitter because you're always tweeting stuff.
Yeah, at LFCCWS. Yeah.
See, that's awesome. And all of the Fauquier campus information is found at LFCC Workforce Solutions. So you're in good shape there too, right, Carlene?
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Well, we are going to wrap up today's episode. We have been talking with Guy Curtis. He is with LFCC's Workforce Solutions. Carlene Hurdle has also been here. She's the Workforce Director for their Fauquier campus. Thank you guys for coming to hang out, and make sure you tell everybody where you got your swag.
It was a blast. Yeah, thank you so much. Go Nats.
We are back in the studio tomorrow. We've got a brand new episode and a brand new guest. We've got somebody coming over to speak with us from Virginia Foodie. It is a food blog, and I have been following them for a while now. It's kind of cool and interesting, and I thought maybe the listeners would like to kind of get a sense of what that is. So I hope you'll meet me back here then tomorrow at 12:30 for a brand new episode of The Valley Today.